Do it again. One more time. Do it again. One more time. Yes. Please rise as you are able and join us in singing, Surely, surely the presence of the Lord is in this place.
Is it wonderful that we are here in community, here as a family, here the ones who stayed together and kept this community going through the dark night of the soul. And now we see on the horizon a rising sun. We see possibility, we see new energy, new life, new commitment, new learning, new growth, new spiritual connection coming. And we give great thanks for all of you here who've stayed the course and stayed with us and connected to Unity on the River. And we take this moment now to just give thanks for the inspiration, give thanks for the higher power that guides us and protects us and leads us to what is next for this wonderful community. And so it is.
And please stay standing. As we stay in this beautiful prayerful energy, we give thanks for this land, this holy land, and this weekend, which Newburyport actually is one of the towns in Massachusetts who we gratefully acknowledge has acknowledged that this is Indigenous Peoples Day weekend. And so I'm going to read the land acknowledgement that we were blessed with to speak the words that are necessary to speak about the sacred land. And we bless Christine Malpica, who is going to be with us and say it for us, but she has the flu, so we bless her, so send her light. So take a breath with me. Unity on the River is located on Nandakina, the traditional ancestral homelands of the Abenaki, Pawtucket, Pennacook, and Wabanaki peoples of the Dawnland, past and present. We acknowledge and honor with gratitude the land, the waterways, the Alnobak people, these people who have stewarded the Nadakina throughout the generations and have ongoing cultural and spiritual connections to this land always. And so we feel that connection, and I'm going to open my spirit drum, and Christine was going to sing this song, and I'm going to lead us in it, and it's a very simple song. It's a call and response. So just feel your feet on the ground, just stomp your feet, just feel the presence of the ancestors here in this room. All of us are indigenous to somewhere, and so we call in the ancestors. Just sing after me. Fly like an eagle,
fly like an eagle,
flying so high,
flying so high,
fly across the universe,
fly across the universe,
on wings of pure light.
wings of pure light.
Oh, how I love you,
Oh, how I love you,
and I always will.
and I always will.
Oh, how I love you,
Oh, how I love you,
and I always will.
and I always will.
Oh, Wichita, oh, Wichita, oh,
Wichita,
oh, Wichita, oh,
Wichita,
Wichita, oh,
Wichita,
fly like an eagle,
fly like an eagle,
flying so high,
flying so high,
fly across the universe,
fly across the universe,
on wings of pure light.
pure light.
Oh, how I love you,
Oh, how I love you,
and I always will.
and I always will.
Oh, how I love you,
Oh, how I love you,
and I always will.
and I always will,
And I always will.
and I always will.
And I always will. Nice. Oh, can you feel it? It was so wonderful to be with everyone yesterday at the powwow downtown. So, with that, we move into lighting the candle of peace. And we have Arlene, is it Arlene? Eileen has joyously offered to light the candle of peace. You haven't been with us for, how long has it been since we've seen you? A couple of years. Welcome back. Yay! Come on up and let's hold our hands up and we just feel the vibration. She's going to light the candle. Just keeping in mind all the places that need peace on the planet.
Like this?
There it is. And we just send light and love and peace and the energy. Yeah, right there. And we say, and so it is. Steve has taken the day off, and I have this nice big drum that I made many years ago. It's perfect for In the Land of I Am. Remember that song? We're going to sing In the Land of I Am. The band will start.
In the land of I am more than I have been. I am more than I will be. I am all that I am. In the land of I am more than I have been. I am more than I will be. I am all that I am. In the land of I am more than I have been. I am more than I will be. I am all that I am. Sought and disgraced, abused and displaced. I've been robbed and disgraced, abused and displaced. I've been lied to, but lies can be seen through in the land. You can't fall from grace in the land. There's more than enough in the land. Always, always at home, always at home, always at home. In the land of I am all that I have been. I am all that I will be. I am all that I am. In the land of I am all that I have been. I am more than I will be. I am all that I am. In the land of I am all that I have been. I am more than I will be. I am all that I am. In the land of I am more than I have been. I am more than I will be. I am all that I am.
Let's say an Om. Let's sing an Om together. And just do one more and let's bring it right into our hearts. Holy, holy. Everything is holy now. So we invite Michelle Gallant up to.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Unity on the River. Let's say hello to our streamers and people who are watching online later. Hello. And also, is anyone here visiting with us for the first time? If you could just raise your hand, we don't bite. We'll give you a packet of information about the church, and we're so glad to have you with us and hope you can join us again. We welcome all paths to God's, and your presence here enriches us. So thank you for coming today. And let's see, now we start with our vision statement. Together, centered in love, we joyously co-create a world of oneness, peace, and harmony. And our mission statement, we are a vibrant spiritual community that celebrates the presence in all and awakens humanity to its divinity. And we're going to say our vision for a new spiritual leader together. And Shipley just asked me to add a few things to this as we say it. We don't have to repeat this, but I just want to have us be speaking it in the spirit which it was intended. The process that was used to develop this vision was designed by Michael Beckwith, and he says, we do not pray for the vision, rather we pray that we, as a congregation, can embody the vision. We ask the questions, how do we need to grow? Not just in number, but I think spiritually ourselves. What do we need to learn? What do we need to let go of that will allow this vision to manifest? In other words, we must be the vision we want to see. These questions are for us to ask individually and collectively. So with that in mind, let's say this together. The spiritual leader of Unity on the River is a heart-centered, inspired teacher and mentor who lovingly embodies the highest and most joyful vision for unity on the river and the world. Thank you. And now it's our time to greet one another with namaste, either a handshake or a hug or just a hello would be fine. And we're so glad to have you all with us. So namaste.
Here is, well, we can't stop hugging, can we? It's very difficult. How about this band? Isn't this lovely? Woo! Thank you. Thank you all. So here's a man who doesn't need any introduction. Peter Scott Stringham was the president, not the president, he was the treasurer of our board at Unity on the River for 4 years. He was the leader or the president of Spirit on the River for 12 years. And he is also an emotional code healer and leader in that field. He just sees so many people and helps so many people. And he's going to sing If I Were Brave, and you are one of the bravest people I know. Yes! I love you. Bless you.
Well, singing in front of you guys takes courage. Yeah, that's for sure. So this is a Janice Stanfield song, If I Were Brave. Janice been here a few times, and I had the extreme honor of having her stay at our house last time she was here. And I've got her private cell phone number. I get to chat with her every once in a while, and I'm trying to get her back here to open up our new center. That's my vision now, that she will come and perform. Yeah. Okay. What would I do if I knew that I could not fail? Would I believe with the wind always fill up my sail? How far would I go? What would I achieve? Trusting the hero in me. If I were brave, I'd walk the razor's edge, where fools and dreamers dare to tread, and never lose faith, even when losing my way. What step will I take today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What if we're all meant to do what we secretly dream? What would you do if you knew you could have anything? Like a mighty oak sleeps in the heart of a seed, are there miracles in you and me? If I were brave, I'd walk the razor's edge, where fools and dreamers dare to tread, and never lose faith, even when losing my way. What step would I take today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? If I refuse to listen to the voice of fear, would the voice of courage whisper in my ear? If I were brave, I'd walk the razor's edge, where true believers dare to tread and never lose faith, even when losing my way. What step will I take today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? Come on, I haven't even done the talk yet. So, there was this lady who was on her way to heaven. She had made her transition. And she goes up to heaven, and there is like the gates, like she'd always heard about. And there was an old gentleman sitting there, and she comes up to him and says, "Are you St. Peter?" And he goes, "Yes." And she says, "This is like the pearly gates?" He says, "Well, they're not so pearl, budget cuts, but yeah." And she says, "Well, what do I have to do to get into heaven?" He says, "Very simple. All you have to do is answer a question." And she goes, "What question do I have to ask?" And he says, "Just spell a word." And she says, "Well, what word do I have to spell?" And he says, "Any word, just pick a word and you can spell it." And she says, "Okay, I picked love, Love, love." And he said, "Great, come on through. You get to come into heaven. And if you could do me a favor, though, if you could just stay here, I'm going to step away for a minute. Just watch the gate for me for a few minutes. So she's there at the gate, and up the trail comes her ex-husband. And she goes, "What are you doing here?" And he says, I don't know. All of a sudden, I just felt faint, and I was in the backyard, and I landed on the grass, and I'd have a horrible feeling in my chest, and now here I am. He says, "Well, you're on your way to heaven." He goes, "I am? This is the gates to heaven?" She said, "Yes." And he says, "Well, how do I get through the gate?" She says, "All you have to do is spell a word." And he says, "Well, what word do I have to spell?" And she goes, "Czechoslovakia." All right. That's to just soften you guys up a little bit. Okay. So this is my third talk on the 10 Commandments. So that means I get to do 7 more, Mark. Okay, you can book me 7 more times. The first one I did it was about Sabbath, choosing a day for your Sabbath and taking on a practice. And I challenged everybody to do that. I took on for a year of not watching football on Sunday afternoon, which I'd been doing since I was like 5 years old. And so far, so good. And it's amazing. All the time I have and the things I get to do with my family and do stuff with my son and kayaking with my wife. It's been a wonderful practice. Then the second talk I did was on coveting. Thou shalt not covet. Because when we covet things of the material world, we're forgetting that the true source of our supply is God. So that's what coveting really is, forgetting where our source truly is. And when we remember that and take that into our being and have our actions in our life harmonious with that, then all the happiness and the joy that we think we get from the material world is already there. And the material world just becomes a way to serve rather than a way to make us happy. So that's the way that works. So, at that service, we chanted together and we promised to take our spiritual practice to the next level. So the commitment I made on that one was when I get up in the morning to have a spiritual time. For the last about 10 years, I was going to the gym and I was there by 5:30 in the morning, and it's pretty crowded there where I go in Portsmouth. And there's, loud music playing and 14 TV channels all playing, and everybody's working out and huffing and puffing. So I exchanged that for quiet time, doing some kind of spiritual reading and contemplation and getting ready for my day and going through all the appointments I have for the upcoming day and holding a high watch for them. So I can vision them in light and healing for the day. So that's what I did for that one. And it's not too late for you guys to take on one of those 2 practices too. So now we're going to go to the second commandment. So it's the third one in the series, but it's commandment number 2. And in my Bible, the study Bible that I have, the second commandment is listed as, "You shall not make for yourself an idol, whether in the form of anything that is from heaven above, or that is on earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. You shall not bow down to them or worship them." Well, that's one of the more archaic sounding commandments, because, and the vision I get is the golden calf from Moses. People made the golden calf and started worshiping it rather than worshiping the invisible God that Moses was telling them was the true God. But it's more than that. It's more than just metal idols or statues. Eric Fromm states that words and machines can become idols. Putting too much faith in science and in the opinions of others can become idolatrous. The mystic storyteller and rabbi Ted Falcon explains idolatry as the moments when we forget who we really are. And instead of remembering that we are sparks of the divine, we start giving up our power to a guru, an ideology, a romantic obsession, a stressful job that begins to define us, or an unhealthy habit that we think we can't live without. Even if we no longer build or worship physical idols like in ancient times, we have modern day addictions and pressures that cause us to forget that our purpose here is to be a vehicle for divine energies. In Christianity, the master teacher, Jesus the Christ, warns us that no one can serve two masters, God and wealth. And I like it in our Bible, it says wealth, not God and money is usually what they say. But Jesus, I like this interpretation better because it tells us that Jesus did not say money was bad. He said that you can't serve God and wealth, which is the accumulation of money. The circulation of money is why we have it. It's okay to become rich, and you serve and you circulate that money and you give it away and you create a better world. And I think that was the true teaching that Jesus had about that. Okay. In the 19th century, here's another one. Catholic Archbishop Ullathorne wrote, "Whatever a man seeks, honors, or exalts more than God, that is the God of his idolatry." In Islam, all the religions all teach this. In Islam, they call putting trust in something other than God a shirk, or another word for it, which translates into idolatry, which is the greatest sin a Muslim can fall into. In Zen Buddhism, idols and illusions of every sort are to be overcome, whether it's dependence on the ego or your ambitions or adherence to a rigid doctrine, even Buddhism itself. Buddhists teach that don't get too wrapped up in the Buddha, because that's idolatry, even to be wrapped up in their own Buddha. So, what are the idols and distractions that you would like to break free from? So here's a list that, so the book I'm using for this is called The 10 Challenges by Dr. Robert Felder. And here's a list of idolatries in today's 21st century time that people get wrapped up in and take us away from God. Do you have trouble following through on some of your most purposeful dreams and goals because of a desire to be perfect or a fear that you won't be good enough? Does your constant focus on making a living sometimes dictate your life and prevent you from giving time and attention to other people and priorities that you care about? Have you ever given up your power to a charming or seductive lover or business partner who turned out to be a fraud? Have you ever gotten so enamored with an idea, a political cause, or a spiritual group that you begin to feel contemptuous of anybody who didn't share your viewpoint? Boy, I'm seeing that all the time these days out there. Have you ever been so sure that you were doing God's will that you unfortunately did something cruel or insensitive that hurt someone else and therefore probably was not God's will? Do you sometimes idolize people too much for their looks, their status, their intellect, or their ability to express themselves? Do you sometimes fall into the habit of being so skeptical and playing the devil's advocate that you are unable to surrender to intangibles like love, satisfaction, or faith in God? Do you tend to lose motivation or fail to complete important goals because you get numbed out by drugs, alcohol, binge eating, or clutter? At the end of a hard and stressful day, do you find yourselves tuning out people who care about you who need you because you'd rather be consumed by watching television or playing a video game or spending a few hours on the internet? All of these things are idols because they keep us from God. So let's go back to the golden calf, because that actually is a good story that has a good lesson in it for us. So there were I didn't realize this till I was researching this talk. There were a couple of 100,000 people that left Egypt and were crossed the desert with Moses. And when they reached Mount Sinai, Moses went up the mountain to have a closer relationship with God, and he told them that he was going up there to be with God. And he was up there for 40 days. So you had a couple of 100,000 people, I don't know, in the desert, very hot in the daytime, very cold at night. I don't know how they fed all those people and took care of them, but it was probably very stressful. And they had been out there for a long time already. And so Moses was up on that mountain for 40 days. So what happened? People got impatient. They didn't want to wait. And some of the leaders down there said, well, it's obvious we've been abandoned, and we need to, God got us this far, he got us over the Red Sea and everything, but we need something tangible so we can finish our journey and go to the promised land. So they collected necklaces and gold and whatever people had, and they melted it all down and made a golden calf. And very logically, they said this golden calf, because it has so much of our spirit in it and our history and what is precious to us in it, that God will come into that calf and we will worship the calf, and then that will take us to where we need to go next. And it was all very logical, and people bought it, and they bought into the idea, and they made the golden calf. And so that was, that was not God. That was, and Moses up there, he's up on the mountain arguing with God, saying, God, give us another chance. And God said, no, I can't. They're not worth another chance. And Moses finally convinces him to, and then he comes down, and there's the golden calf, because they have forgotten their true source. So the lesson in it for us is that sometimes it takes time. Moses was up on that mountain for 40 days, and we sometimes need 5 minutes and we lose patience about something, whether it's a red light or a pill that we took that we wanted to fix whatever symptom we have going on. There's always something, and our connection with God takes time and patience. And why I'm so amazed at this community that with everything that's been going through in the last 3 years, really, that you're sticking it out and you're patient and using this as an opportunity to grow and to, as I said in the opening prayer, to enhance ourselves spiritually for doing this. And the ones that are here and a lot of you who are watching on the internet right now are the core that held this together. And so maybe I shouldn't be preaching this to you, but we all have our little idols that we do. So the golden calf story is a compassionate, useful warning that says, as you seek to deepen your spirituality, you have plenty of chances to give up, get distracted, try some other church or some other spiritual thing, but not stick with this unity idea, or feel drawn to illusions or paths that leave you feeling empty. So instead of saying that we shouldn't succumb to false idols and paths, we can instead find ways to awaken your true self every day, so you can stay on track and find your purpose in life. And it was great last week. The rabbi came and blew the shofar, the ram's horn, if you were here for that. And that's exactly what that's about. It's about waking ourselves up. And this is the time of year in the Jewish tradition when they do that in Yom Kippur. It's a time to wake ourselves up and reconnect with what we're really here to do. So there's 3 steps. I'm going to give you a bunch of ideas. And again, I challenge you to pick one idea, and that'll help you free yourself from whatever your idol is in your life, whatever is distracting you from who you really are, whatever is holding you back from fulfilling your true life purpose. And I'll talk for a minute about life purpose at the end. about what your life purpose is if you have any doubts. In my practice, I have all the time people are asking me to help them find their life purpose. It's pretty common. So the first step to free yourself from idols and to quiet our noisy brains that are the monkey mind that's always telling us there's something better somewhere else. The first one is confession. To confess and bar your soul. Now, the first thing when I learned that, the first thing I thought of is the Catholic Church going to the confession booth and, oh God, horrible sinner that I am, forgive me, but it doesn't have to be that way. It can be just that confession is just sharing what's going on with you in an honest and vulnerable way. And that will help quiet the monkey mind and get you back to where you really need to be. And there's the book, Linda Martella Whitsett, a Unity writer, How to Pray Without Talking to God. That's a great book to read, and about praying as a private practice to bar your soul and cleanse yourself of the thoughts that are holding you back from living your true life purpose. Because it's Indigenous Peoples Day tomorrow, here's one from the Native American tradition where they do that. This is from the book, The Wind is My Mother by Bear Hart. If we really want to know ourselves, at some point we're going to have to surrender to a higher wisdom who knows all about us, our weaknesses, our mistakes, and our potentials. Many Native American tribes do that through our meditation known as the Vision Quest, the setting aside of a time and space alone out in nature to communicate with a higher being and explore that which is within. A Vision Quest entails many hours of meditation and fasting, and doing without everyday comforts as Vision Questers empty themselves of attachments to becoming ready to receive. Somewhere in that space and time where questing answers come. It's an opportunity to know more about ourselves and the options that we have to choose in life. My teacher that I had for over 20 years, named Tony Stone, used to give me assignments to kind of get me back on track, because I was always off kilter. And, my whole life until a few years ago, I was not living who I really am. And we would go up to these weekends at Tony's place. And she was a wonderful teacher because she didn't really care what we thought about her. She was going to smack us upside the head with the truth about who we were. And at the end of the weekends, we would go up there. I did probably about 20 of them. She would give out a homework assignment for the next time, which was something challenging or something to get us to the next level in life. And at the end, she would ask, does anybody want a personal assignment? And I always raised my hand. Give me one just for me. And she gave me outrageous things to do that really got me out of my ego self. And one time, and she was, I think, just making these up on the spot, she said, drive to Nova Scotia and spend a week writing in a cabin. And I had 3 months to do it, or I had to pay a $1,000 fine if I didn't go. So I got in the car, and I didn't realize, like, driving from my house to Nova Scotia is like the same as like driving from my house to Atlanta. It's far. And so I went up there and I found a place that had a cabin by the ocean, and I pulled out journals and some writing projects, and I did that for a week. And it was very cleansing and very, very wonderful activity. And I just felt renewed and revived. And I was alone. It was probably the longest I'd been alone since being married. I I've been married over 20 years by that time. And well, it's definitely the longest probably. So that's the kind of thing you can do. And then in my own practice with my own students, I challenge everybody once a year to just get a little hotel room, a Motel 6 room or something, and go in there for 2 days and write out your goals for the next year and be completely without distraction. And write down what's working in your life, what's not working in your life, what's going on. So you can do that. You don't have to get a hotel room to do that, but it just seems you have to do that so to keep the distractions away. So be alone, be completely honest with God. You can do that in a church. Some people do it in 12-step meetings. Some people just go out in nature. We have a group called TUBA, Unity Business Alliance, that meets on Zoom every Wednesday morning. And at the last Wednesday of every month, we have a mastermind. And everybody comes to the meeting and they share what's going on in their lives that they need support in. And everybody else in the group, one at a time, gives them a message of support and love and encouragement. And it's a very powerful way to connect ourselves with God. And any of you are invited to come and experience TUBA if you'd like. It's been around. This will be we're in our 6th year now meeting. So it's a solid group that you might enjoy. Second thing you can do to reduce the idolatry in your life is set up daily reminders and inspirational supports to keep you living up to your potential. So the one I invite you to do, if you're not doing it, is Daily Word. The Unity Daily Word, it's like, I don't know, $12 for a year subscription of it, something like that. And it's got a daily message in there that you can just take 5 minutes to read every morning and contemplate. And it's a great way to start your day that way. I went and visited, I've been visiting my sister a lot in North Carolina. And when I go down there, I'm an early riser, gym at 5:30. So I'm down there and I get up early and she's always up, sitting in the couch in the living room, reading her daily word and meditating in the morning before I even get up. So, so that's her practice and great inspiration to me. So I got my subscription and now I'm reading Daily Word. Unity Magazine. Boy, it's always was good, but now it's really outstanding. And if you haven't read Unity Magazine in the last couple of years, that's a great reading to do. Audios, you go onto unity.org and there are all kinds of audios and podcasts and things that you can access to. Unity Online Radio, listen to them in the car. So you're not listening to the news anymore. Listening to things uplifting and spiritually that you can spiritually connect to. I have an app, a free app on my phone called Insight Timer. It's a meditation app, and they have meditations that are 3 minutes long and ones that are 2 hours long. There's over 15,000 meditations. And some of them are music, some of them are guided, some of them are classes, anything you can possibly imagine. And I recommend you get that. I'm at now 425 consecutive days using the app. And you get little stars when you have 10 days in a row and stuff like that. They give you little rewards. And it's a great daily practice to do. And I count it if I'm going for a walk in nature and it's peaceful, I'll count that as walking meditation. If I'm chanting, that counts. If I'm doing a yoga class, I count that. Or if I'm going to bed and I haven't meditated that day, I'll put something on to go to sleep to. I count all of those. So I'm easy. I get my stars, my 10-day stars pretty easily there. So that's another practice you can do. And then there's volunteer activities, classes or study groups, or a ritual or routine that helps you unwind and feel a sense of gratitude. Pick something. take it on, make a change in your life, and go through the discomfort of changing your routine and see what happens. Finally, open up the third thing you can do. Open up to ways you can share your gifts and live with greater purpose. So I've alluded to this a couple of times already. So the second commandment, and this is Dr. Felder speaking, the second commandment not only warns against false paths, but implicitly says to each one of us, make sure you find and follow through on your own unique path in life. You know, my father was an engineer, and I went into engineering and became a civil engineer and did it for 6 years, and just started doing spiritual work and realized that wasn't for me. And I just quit my job. In 1982, inflation was like 16%, so twice as bad as it is now. Everybody thought I was out of my mind. I rode around the country. I ended up in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, where I was going to spend the summer opening a restaurant, and never went back to engineering, never left Portsmouth. And but the next thing wasn't it. And the next thing after that wasn't it. But every step I got closer and closer until I got the job, Unity on the River. I said, that's it. This is going to be it. This is my life purpose. I can serve the people in this congregation and take care of their payroll and all the logistics and really support the minister and make the minister great. And that was my mission. And that wasn't it. So now I've gone on to the next level, which is healing people one-on-one. Or really, I'm not a healer. I help people access the healing that's within and open that up to them, because we all have the ability to heal within us. So there's just blocks or energy blocks and misalignments or imbalances that keep us from that state. So that's what I'm doing now. And wow, I'm up to the next. I'm happier than I've ever been doing that. And is there another step? I don't know, but boy, if there is, I can't wait, because it's been a great ride. And it's been real discomfort every step of the way, every time I make change. Money discomfort. You know, I had to leave a job where I had a salary to a job where I had no salary and no history of making any money, no experience in that area directly. I'd had a lot of a passion about that since I was in high school, but I didn't know it was anything I was going to be able to do. And with the incredible support of my life partner and wife, Carol, I was able to get through. And, you know, financially, I'm doing better now than I was when I was doing the church, which freaks me out. But because I'm accessing service and joy, and I'm praying for my clients every day, and those of you who have had sessions with me know every single session starts with a prayer. And I thought people would think I'm nuts. They'd head for the hills after doing that, but I committed to do it, that that's what I was going to do. And I know people like it and enjoy it and appreciate it, and it contributes to their healing. So that's what I do. And so ask yourself, how can I be useful? Look for moments of passion and purpose that keep showing up in your life. And I think that's why you're here too. There's a part of you that finds passion and purpose in serving as being part of Unity on the River. And that community meeting last week was just wonderful. The energy and the vibration of that meeting. I was in the back with Amy Jocelyn, and we were just commenting, wow, I can really feel this is really happening. And they were showing pictures of what a church we could build could look like. And then that gets your imagination going. And I just had this vision this week of when you get the building, you know, they will come, people will come, and and there's going to be a big opening, and maybe Janice Stanfield performing, and it's going to be just packed full of people. And they're going to be all these people that we've never even seen before, but they're going to be attracted to our energy and that we've been holding, the space we've been holding for these years without a building. And at one point in it, somebody's going to stand up in the front, probably our new minister, and says, I'm going to want, he or she is going to say, I want people that were on the board for the last 5 years, who served on the building committee, who served on the search committee, who held the space in music, who volunteered, who came to services at the synagogue to stand up. And it'll be about, maybe 10 or 20% of the room is going to stand up. And you all are going to be there, and you're going to be standing up. And everybody else is going to stand up and give you a standing ovation, because you are the heroes that are making this happen. And it's going to be, everybody's going to be so proud and pleased and happy that we went through this dark night of the soul to create this new beginning for Unity on the River. And so stay at it, keep growing, keep making changes, because as you grow, that's the story you're going to tell that's going to bring all these new people in. Okay? Just coming here and sitting here and then going home and have everything else be the same is not enough anymore. Now it's time to go to the next level. And the next level is to make a change in your life and go through any discomfort that's going to come and see it make a difference. Cast aside the idolatry. And it's going to be hard to do in our culture. And in the book, Dr. Felder says, you're lucky if 10% of the time you're not serving some kind of idol rather than God. So let's get up to 11. That's enough. You don't have to be perfect. I'm sure not perfect. This afternoon, I'll be with my son doing yard work, but I'll be thinking about how are the Patriots doing now? They're wearing their new uniforms today, So that's the way it goes. And I'm going to sing another Janice Stanfield song about that at the end of the service to inspire you to go to that next level and make a change. So now we're going to go into meditation. And again, in honor of Indigenous Peoples Day, Meg's going to lead us through a Native American meditation.
Thank you, Peter. Let's all just give Peter a hand. This is wonderful. Spirit of the wind.
Spirit of the wind, carry me. Spirit of the wind, carry me home. Spirit of the wind, carry me home to myself. Spirit of the wind, carry me. Spirit of the wind, carry me home. Spirit of the wind, carry me home to myself. Spirit of the wind, carry me. Spirit of the wind, carry me home. Spirit of the wind, carry me home to myself.
Carry me home to myself. feeling the heartbeat. Your own heartbeat. Breathing into that space, that sacred holy space within. Home to myself. Home to the essence of who I truly am. The heartbeat that started in the womb carries me to the tomb. The sacred walk, the good red walk on the road from birth. Just see yourself on that walk now. Perhaps you've got a blanket over you as you walk. The leaves are turning. We're walking towards winter. The wind rustles through the trees. And from the distance, you might see your own spirit medicine guide coming towards you. An energy of healing, hope, help. There's an energy coming towards you with a message for your soul's highest good. Perhaps it's your own inner shaman that wants to tell you something about coming home to yourself even more. Is it something I need to do? Something I need to say to someone? Change. The change I need to make for myself. Just letting yourself go into the silence and receive in the silence. walking back now. Receiving in your heart something you already knew. And just feeling that blessing, whatever it is. Maybe it's a reminder to love yourself more. Remembering that. We send out love to all those who are sick and suffering. If there's someone in your family or someone you know who needs more healing and prayers, just say their name softly down. Remember Tessa's brother, Stephen, passed yesterday. Let's remember her family and love. Spirit of the wind, carry me. Spirit of the wind, carry me. Spirit of the wind, carry me home to myself. Spirit of the wind, carry me. Spirit of the wind, carry me home. Spirit of the wind, carry me home to myself. Spirit of the river, Spirit of the river flowing life giving. Spirit of the sea, set my soul free. Spirit of the wind, carry me. Spirit of the wind, carry me home. Spirit of the wind, carry me home to myself. This beautiful moon, Spirit of the moon, let the visions bloom. Spirit of the sun, shine on Spirit of the wind, carry me home. Spirit of the carry me home to myself, to myself. So now is the time in our service when we give so that we can receive. Am I right? All right? Yeah, we give, and so we give to receive. And we know that the more we give, the more we receive. So we just light up in that knowing that when we tithe, 10% of our wealth, whether it's and our talents, however we can give, it comes back in multitude ways, the law of prosperity. So let's say the blessing of the tithes and offerings. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. So it is.
so grateful for all that I have. I am so glad. I am so glad. I am so grateful. I am so glad. One more time, the feeling. I am so blessed. I am so glad. I am so glad. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so
Shake and rattle and hold our hands up over these beautiful offerings. And we know that they go out to do the will of the one who sent us, the Great Spirit, the will of the I Am Presence. And we say, thank you. Let's all say, thank you, thank you, thank you. So it is. Amen and amen.
Okay, I have a few announcements for you. Peter mentioned the community meeting that we had last week, and I just wanted to let everyone know that is available online on our YouTube channel. So take a look at that if you weren't able to attend. There's lots of good information at that meeting. It was really great. And what came up in that meeting is that some of the funds we received from the sale of the church of our previous property have now been transferred into fixed income investments. So that because of things fluctuating so much, we wanted to have something that was stable for us. So that has been completed. You can speak with Stan or our treasurer, Jim McQuaid, raise your hand, Jim, if you have any questions about that. And just a reminder that tithes and offerings are really easy to make. You can do it online at unityontheriver.org. We also have a phone number that you can text to, and it really makes it easy. And if you want, you can set up like a regular donation. Then you don't have to think about it, but you know it's helping to support the church. And speaking of another way to support the church, how many of you know that Amazon will give a little bit of a sale of their, whatever you buy from them? They'll give a 0.5% to 1% donation to Unity on the River. So you have to go on smile.amazon.com, and you can select Unity on the River. And it's kind of cool. They actually show how much has been donated over the years to us. So whatever you might think about them, it is another way to help support the church. The minister search team, there was an update about that at the meeting again last week. They're hard at work checking references. We have several candidates. And once they're done, we'll begin the interview process, and they'll keep us up to date on that whole process. A couple of other things, the neighbors around here request that we try to park at the parking lot that's on the corner over there. It's about 1.5 blocks or so down. If you're able to do that, it would just help free up the spaces on the street for the people in the neighborhood. And the Social Justice Committee has a survey in this week's newsletters. Just 3 little questions. So if you can go on to the weekly newsletter and look for that, that would be great. And just fill that out for them. And I think there was one more thing. Oh, and we have hospitality today. Thank you, Phyllis, for getting that set up. And the people that helped her with that were really excited to be able to go and hang out after church. Was that it? Was that the other thing? I knew there was one more. And I think that's it for today.
I
So
also want to invite anyone out who may want to sing. And we're going to start, not yet, but soon, thinking about our holiday choir. And so if you want to come up and join us and just have fun and, sing, please do. Anytime. We start at 8:30 every Sunday, and we'd love to see if you've been away, come on back up. If you want to join the holiday choir, just talk to me and we'll, talk about that. So it is. Aha! Scott is coming back up to sing. Yes!
We cannot change the world we see till change begins in you and me. But change the world around us when the change begins within. So let the change begin. Let the change begin. Let the change begin within. Not change the world we see till change begins in you and me. To change the world around us when the change begins again. So let the change begin. 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 The lesson from the willow tree is strength and flexibility. When nothing seems to go my way, it's time to learn to sway. So let the change begin. Let the change begin. Let the change begin within. Patiently, courageously, be the change we wish to see. Let the change begin. Let the change begin. Let the change begin within. Let the change begin. Let the change begin. Let the change begin. Let the change begin within. Oh, let the change begin. Everybody come. Let the change begin. 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 Let the change begin within. One time. Let the change begin.
Well, in that spirit, let's all join hands and sing our peace song, sending it out into the world. Here we go.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it reign with me. The light of God surrounds us.
We are the light of God.
The love of God enfolds us.
We are the love of God.
The power of God protects us.
We are the power of God.
And the presence of God watches over us.
We are the presence of God.
Wherever we are,
God
God
is,
is,
and all is well, and we are richly blessed.